Good thing. Well, he got. We getting going right as. Yeah, okay, so I know y'all can hear me now. Okay, but thank you for tuning in. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is the Lyne't Gray Show. We gonna start over. Good thing I didn't get going on the show. We gonna start over. This is the Lyne't Gray Show here on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's global community radio station. You're most likely listening to to Lyne't Gray Show on KUAW-LPFM 985. But guess what, y'all? We are now live on YouTube. Yes, so you can, if you want to be on Facebook on your phone or YouTube on your phone and still be Facebooking, go ahead and do that. And do me a favor, y'all. Share this video. Share it from YouTube. Share it from Facebook. Share it wherever. You can type in. All right. It sure does. KUAW Radio on YouTube. Just look across the bottom of the screen and it tells you. Look right there. It's scrolling right now and it gives you all the information. We don't have any guests today, but let me finish our station announcements. You can listen to the Lyne't Gray Show and many other. We got amazing shows, y'all. We have what we call Terrific Tuesday. Terrific Tuesday is like the bomb lineup. You just not gonna. It doesn't get. And we have Truth Be Told with T Baby, and then we have Source of the Inkwell with Tyrone Gathers Jr. And is Senior Moments on the Tuesday? Yeah. Senior Moments is on the Tuesday. See, I love Senior Moments, and it's not even that long, but I love watching it. And Senior Moments with Miss Walker. I don't know her first name, so I'm not gonna call her by her first name. But Senior Moments with Miss Walker is on a Tuesday. You can listen to us. If you want to get the TuneIn app, there's some people who don't, do all the Facebook watching stuff. Get the TuneIn app, and that you go to the TuneIn app, type in the letters KUAW, Instagram, Twitter, and TuneIn, and then YouTube is KUAW Radio. Facebook is KUAW-LPFM 985. Now, if you don't have any social media, guess what? We have a website you can watch us on. KUAW.org, and just go to the website, click on it, the videos are there. You want to reach the station, if you're interested in having a show, if you just want to reach the station, go email us at KUAW985@gmail.com. Our telephone number, we love callers, y'all. We love call in, social distancing. Y'all can really call in now. 816-599-6893. And like I said, we are just absolutely happy and overjoyed to have all of our viewers. I'm not able to share. I think Facebook got something against me because they've been messing with my store as well. So now I have to take my site, my page for my store, and just have people go into the group. But you will be able to purchase amazing things from me. The high dollar things are being sold on eBay though for buyer assurance. Just know that. But I want to shout out Daniel Davis for his positive energy movement. He just put out some of the hottest music, y'all. Y'all gotta support him. Daniel Davis, he's been a guest on my show several times, and his energy is just so amazing. And I wore the positive energy shirt today to remind everyone the energy that he makes these shirts in, it resonates when you wear the shirt. I mean, literally, every time I put this shirt on, people are like, I like that. That's what we need. And everybody's spirit just raises because, like they said, everyone needs positive energy. So I want everyone to hit up Daniel Davis on Facebook is Daniel Davis, on Instagram is Daniel Davis. Inbox him. He's got some amazing stuff. I just got his. He's got a Carolina blue hoodie that I had to have. My daughter graduated from University Academy and Columbia University, and Columbia University and North Carolina University, their colors are almost exactly the same. And University Academy has Columbia University colors. So I wanted their Carolina blue. But today we have several things we're going to talk about. We're definitely going to talk about healing today. A lot of people, I saw something online that kind of, I've been, I want to send my heartfelt circulate energy of comfort and peace to all of the families who are losing people to COVID-19. But also, Kansas City had a big loss. We had a humongous loss. If this is true, I saw it on Facebook. I'm not sure if it's true because I looked for it, I can't find it. Maybe I wasn't looking in the right spot. Dr. Pelham McDaniel passed away from the Kansas City Chiefs, the man who started the African American school thing for University of Missouri, Kansas City. Someone please let me know if that's true or not. I really, really, really want to know if that's true or not because that is huge. And it said he was 52 years old. I'm just I'm blown away by that. That's a big loss for us. It really is. So I want to circulate energy of just comfort and peace to all families who are losing people right now. And I want to say this. A lot of people are getting upset and they're angry because they have to stay at home. And this is what I tell a lot of people. Majority of the people who are upset and angry about staying at home are not the most hygienic people anyway. So, and your diet ain't right. So if you know that you have 2 or 3 strikes against you, stay your behind at home because you don't need to get sick and get the people in your family sick. You need to make sure that you are 100%. You're not taking in everything to keep your body healthy as it is. You're probably sitting around slobbing down ribs and potato salad and all kind of meat and all kind of carbs, and you don't have anything to fight off any sickness in your body. Probably go get a gallon of orange juice when you get sick. Stay your butt at home. That's all I have to say. We're going to address, okay, so what I was about to talk about at the beginning of the show is healing. Healing. We have to heal. And I'm not talking about from this virus situation. I'm talking about our people have to heal. Our men have to heal. I was unfortunate to be in the middle, not even in the middle, but to be watching a show that, not a show, I was looking at what he's doing up here. I was unfortunate to be watching a situation unfold between 2 men. And I sent my son into the gas station, sent Aiden into the gas station. We had been out repairing water lines, y'all. Whew. And the plumbers charge a whole lot, but they professionals. But Lord. But anyway, I sent Aiden into the gas station to get snacks. And Aiden has this thing where everything Aiden does, he's a track runner and he's fast. But everything he does is like slow motion. It is horrible. Everything he does is in extreme slow motion. So he's in the store about 20 minutes, picking out snacks, running back and forth to the fridge, running back and forth to, the store ain't even that big, y'all. I can see everywhere he went. That's how small the store is, the gas station. It just felt like something was pulling at my spirit, at my soul, and it just felt like it was like of urgent matter. So when I feel that, I looked up. I looked up and I noticed 2 men. And they were not loud arguing. That's the weird thing about it. That's how I knew that it was like, I knew this was serious. Because it wasn't one of those wolf tickets. Like I call them wolf tickets when you yelling and doing and jumping around. These men were like standing there and all you saw was their heads bobbing. And so then one of the men pulls out a 40 cal and holds it by his side. He didn't pull it out like that. He just lifted it up and kept his arm down on the side. And they're sitting there talking and his head tilted. And the other man puts his hand by the man with the hoodie took it all the way out. The man with the t-shirt just had the t-shirt up. And I'm like, they're arguing. And as they're arguing, I'm like, I got to get my baby out of there. And I look, and where the man with the hoodie was, had he pulled that gun and shot, my baby was right in the line of fire, just running back and forth to snacks. And so right when I got ready to call the police, I think he could feel it. Because I was like, I'm calling the police. And right when I thought that, he looked over and looked me dead in my face. And I'm sitting there. So I was like, okay, what needs to happen next? So I'm panicking now. So I start calling Aiden on his phone. And Aiden leaves his flip phone at home because he doesn't want like being seen with a flip phone because he keeps tearing up phones. And I'm not buying him another smartphone. So he has a smartphone and he connects to Wi-Fi wherever he's at for his smartphone. I'm calling the smartphone, calling. Aiden's not answering. It's about 15 minutes. I was going to tell him run out the store, and I'll pull up, and we were going to go out the other way. Well, needless to say, Aiden's not answering his phone. Next thing you know, some kind of way, the argument spilled over, and they began arguing and went into the store. I lost it. I hopped out my car. I don't even remember how I got out the car. I got out the car, and I ran into the store, and I began screaming and cussing Aiden out and telling him he better get his so-and-so and such about that store, and he's not answering my phone. Because the more I called Aiden, the more angry I got, because he's not answering his phone. And so the more angry I got at him not answering his phone, by the time I hit that door, I was in full-on rage mode, because the two men are in there. They're walking in arguing, and I couldn't do it. And when I hit the door yelling, the weirdest thing happened, and it was weird to me at first, but then I came to a certain conclusion. I hit the door yelling and cussing and going off on Aiden because he wouldn't answer his phone. Every man in the store, it was 3 men plus those 2 plus Aiden. It was 6 men in the store. I yanked the door open, and I'm going off on Aiden through the door. The 3 men who were standing there, one was at the register. When I told him, you better get your so-and-so and such about this store, those 3 men vacated the store. The 2 who were getting ready to get into a shootout, they jumped, and I'm cussing at Aiden and going off on him, and I told him he better not drop any snacks and this, that, and the other, and they're picking up his snacks, trying to give them to him, and they were like, we're sorry, ma'am, we're getting out of here, this, that, and the other. And the store, Aiden says now, he's like, yeah, you cleared that store out. It's funny now, but then it wasn't funny. And I felt bad because I cursed my child out all the way home, because all I could think was, my son is none the wiser, and he's in the line of fire. And then somebody else's son, these 2 men, don't even care about their mom enough to not argue with each other to where they're going to get shot. And so it sent me into another place. Well, we got home, and I think the reason why I felt so bad is because, the dinner table, thank you, Mother Mary Moore. I started back the dinner table conversations and being at the dinner table with the children. And so we were at the dinner table, and I was like, Aiden, this, that, and the other, and I called you this many times, and you didn't answer. And so Aiden pulls his flip phone out of his pocket while I'm talking and goes, here's Aiden. You didn't call me. Aiden and that phone almost got smacked down on the floor at the dinner table, so I got to cussing him out again. So that's why I felt so bad, because I just let him have it. And then I was like, I called you on your blankety blank smartphone, and this, and you want to get smart with me, I'll knock your head off your shoulders. I mean, I was just that mad because my baby was about to get shot worrying about some snacks. I think he went in the store and bought $22 worth of snacks. Aiden better not say snack to me ever again in his life. But anyway, so he pulls out his smartphone, and he sees he's like, oh, that was you calling. So you're just not going to look at your phone. You knew somebody was calling. But needless to say, the situation was diffused. But one thing I've come to the conclusion of, from seeing that example of 2 men who everybody else was none the wiser that they were about to shoot each other and arguing. People were just getting out their cars, going in the store. But my energy told me something was wrong. That our men need to heal. Our men need to be able to cry. Our men need to be able to let their emotions out. Because one of 2 men, or maybe both men, were about to get shot based on the principle of, you ain't gonna disrespect me, or I'm a man, or whatever the case may be. But I watched as these 2 men, there was going to be a homicide right there in front of me, or at least a shooting. And about what? Because once I cleared out the store, they hopped in their vehicles and left. So what you were arguing about was not even serious enough for you to put your hands on a gun. It was not serious enough for you to be considering taking a life. It wasn't even serious enough to discuss for real, because y'all 2 left in your vehicles, peeled out. Once I cleared the store out, everybody peeled out. So what is so serious? What hurt you so bad that you're willing to take somebody's life behind it? And I come to the conclusion that our men do not have the opportunity to heal. That is a problem. That's a big issue. They are told, and I have 5 sons, so I know, and I had to get on my now ex-husband who was like, oh, they can't cry. No, they can cry. Either you let them cry or they're going to be crying behind bars because they're going to snap on somebody. So let them cry, let them be men, tell them, hey, if you don't want to cry in front of other people, you go home and cry, or you go there, or you warn people, once you make me drop a tear, it's over, so you might not want to make me cry. You know, that's one of the things that our men need to be able to do, and hopefully, you know, everybody keeps saying, oh, our young boys need mentors. These were not young boys, these were grown men. These were not 20-something-year-old boys. These were every bit, maybe they look old for their age, but these men were every bit of, I want to say 35 to 38. They might look hard and old for their age. I'm not sure. But these men were entirely too old to be acting out of emotion like that. So mentors teach you how to build your life, take care of a family, pay your bills, go after your dreams. Most mentors do not teach men how to work through their emotions. Most don't. Most mentors do not teach men how to have control of their mind, body, and spirit. They don't. So that's where we need to, we do a whole lot of helping the women, but you know, as a mom of sons and as just a fiance, I've been a wife before, you know, as just that person, I see that men need a lot of healing. Men need a lot of healing. That's what I'm going to say about that. I am eternally grateful and thankful and extremely happy that that situation did not turn out the way it could have. I'm eternally grateful and thankful and happy for that. Now, we're going to be discussing one of the things. I need someone to tell me what state it was. I'll probably look it up on break because we go on break at 8:30. But a whole group of white men just walked into the state capitol with rifles. And they claim that white privilege don't exist. Come on, y'all. We're going to discuss that after the break because I got to look up the state. As well as people are having a hard time educating their children with the school shutdown. So we're going to discuss that. I'm going to give you all some tips to help you, as well as I will be scheduling a call-in with an amazing man who has an amazing program that he is now taking it online for homeschool. It's a homeschool program. And your child, trust me, your child will know everything they need to know before they get in the 4th grade, let alone graduate high school. So this is something for the parents to think about, for the parents to look at and think about, and I would say invest in. I am just extremely happy. Let me tell y'all about me, because we have to start out with that little bit of bad news, but it's good news because someone's son is still alive. 3 sons are still alive. Guess what? So I changed out my own water heater. Changing out my own oil. I have my brother Brown get ready to come in, and I'm gonna help him do the subflooring to my toilet. I've done lines. I want to thank Antoine at Home Depot, Antoine and Granny, but definitely Antoine at Lynewood Home Depot, 111 Lynewood Boulevard in Kansas City, Missouri, because I mean that man got me thinking I'm a real live plumber, to the point that when my water line started leaking again when I put in my new water heater, and I called plumbers because I almost gave up, and the plumber came in and told me, he was like, oh, you got everything set up really nicely. I said, yeah, I just got to stop that leak right there. And he's like, that's going to be $293. I said, you selling something else with that? you know how men do us women. So I was like, I know you slanging something else. $293 ain't going to fix that little bit of mess when I can just cut it off and take it back and go do it. He's like, yeah, and then I can't get to it till tomorrow. Okay, so by the time you get to me and you get to the store, I'll just do it myself. So I am grateful for Antoine. Also a man named Daniel who couldn't get to me, but he was a plumber. And I was telling him what was going on, and he told me how to snap. Y'all, it's some stuff called Shark Bite. Shark Bite turns you into a real plumber. Here's the secret to Shark Bite, though, that Daniel told me. You have to apply pressure and snap the Shark Bite in. I use Shark Bite. I have now used Shark Bite with PEX A with copper and with PVC in my house, and it works every time. No leaks. I promise y'all. It's amazing. So I can be a Shark Bite commercial person. I guess I'll reach out to them and have them do a sponsorship of KUAW, because I got Shark Bite all through my house on PEX A, copper, and PVC. So, but yeah, and I just want to encourage women. I'm getting ready to tackle rebuilding the lawnmower. I'm just doing all kind of stuff, y'all. I'm gonna be doing my furnace once the piece comes in, doing my air conditioner, and it's YouTube. I love YouTube. I love Googling things. I love YouTube. It's amazing, and I'm excited and I'm happy about it, because there are some amazing people out here who literally are willing to give you free information step by step. So another thing, parents of homeschool students, there are people out here who will give you information step by step. Google it. It'll pull up YouTube videos. And I like to Google what I'm looking for, because Google tends to give you the oldest video. That's what I like. It doesn't give you the new stuff that's very vague and people are talking in technical terms and stuff. They like to give you the oldest video, which I absolutely love. I appreciate. And so, but yeah, we have several things to talk about when we come back at 8:30. But right now, let me, we have a special, I don't know if I should say it. Let me verify. Let me verify before I give y'all this news, okay? Because some stuff I be getting so excited and people are like, no, I didn't want you saying that. But I want to announce to everybody, my son, Sebastian Smith, that's what he used to call himself when he was little. Sebastian edited my daughter's Ivy League capstone for her master's degree. Listen to what I said. He edited his big sister's Ivy League capstone for her master's degree, and she graduated top of her class at Columbia University, Teachers College. She got an A. Not only did she get an A, she got a high A. And from all of the editing that I saw him do, because she was stressed and pulling her hair out, I think he edited her capstone and edited another paper for her. Now listen, Sebastian ain't writing your papers, but Sebastian is offering his services, a paid service, to edit your college final papers or your high school final papers or capstones and all of that. Sebastian's cold with it. He's homeschooled. All of my children have been homeschooled at some point in time in their life. He fell in love with writing, even though he's a math genius. He's taking physics and pre-calc, first and second hour. I told his teacher, I was like, yeah, had that have been me, you got an A in one class and an F in another, but you wouldn't have got them both. And then I got all these college classes and I'm in high school, really? So he's keeping up and he's doing really well. But reach out to me, get a young king some business, some editing business, to where, you know, he can put some money in his pocket. He's trying to go to college next year. Well, he is going. It's already paid for. But he wants to go with a little bit of money in his pocket. And I told him, do what you love. Don't do something you hate. Do what you love. So that being said, also he and Aiden, got to confirm, but he and Aiden, I want everybody to keep the lookout, because they will be doing as soon as possible when they can confirm that you can have large groups, even because, you know, even if they lift the ban, you might not be able to have large groups. So whenever they confirm large groups, they will be putting on Smash Bros tournament. And they are in the works right now with my big brother cousin, who was on the show, who was my e-gaming esports co-host, D'Angelo Porche. They're in the works with him with doing tournaments as well. I guess virtual reality tournaments. I'm not sure. They discussed that. But anyways, so I'm just grateful, y'all. My brain is moving a million miles a minute, because this is some really good news that I want to say, but I know I can't say it until I confirm. So I'll just hold off on this news that I have. It might not be. But what's another thing? It was something really. Oh, Missouri State Representative. No, not Missouri State Representative. 3rd District Councilman at Large Brandon Ellington is doing several collaborations with churches and organizations to do drive-through food donations. So that means you pull up in your car and the The volunteer hands you the food, and then you drive off. Nobody gets out. He also said, I don't know what church he said, but he said one of the churches, he said it on his live this morning, that one of the churches are giving free COVID 19 testing. Now, I don't trust that testing because they found that a whole bunch of them was already tainted. So I think they swiped that thing on your face because, you know, they said don't touch your face. They swiped that dang thing on your forehead or somewhere near your mouth, and them tests already got it in it, and you got it. So that's just me, y'all. That's just, hey, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm all the way conspiracy. I've been watching COVID-19 since December, and it wasn't making sense to me why they was worried about this thing, but the flu is killing millions of people, and ain't nobody said nothing. But I love the fact. I love everything that they're doing. I love the social distancing. I love the shutdowns, all of that, because the flu was taking people out like crazy, and people were catching the flu. Now, if you adhere to the COVID-19 social distancing rules, you shouldn't get the flu. You get it now? So everybody's safe. But so we are going to go ahead and go to break. It's 8:29 right now. We will be back in 2 minutes. Stay with us. If you can, share the show. Like I said, Facebook, I don't know what they're doing with me. Facebook just don't want me saying nothing. That's why I'm on Instagram. I'm just playing. Joy, love, peace, happiness. See you when we come back. This is the Lyne't Gray Show.
Hey everybody, this is Scatter. You might remember me from way back in the Zodiac days. Be sure and check us out. We're going to be here every day from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It's old school with Scatter. Scatter's back. Check me out on the internet, KUAW.org. For all you Paseo Central Manulite people, want you to remember that in the 60s and the 70s, we had some good music. If you want to hear some of the Temptations, some of Smokey Robinson, some of the Tim Free, things that you don't get every day, DJ Scatter remembers he's going to have it for you.
Bank of Blue Valley is a proud sponsor of KUAW Radio. At Bank of Blue Valley, we believe that an understanding of financial values sets individuals up for a strong future. Whether you want to talk about checking and savings accounts, review lending alternatives, or discuss starting your own business, we have the right people to listen and advise. Visit us at bankbv.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to 98.5. This is KUAW, Kansas City, Missouri. Glad you're listening. Keep tuning to the new voice in Kansas City.
Hi, my name is Felania Johnson, and I'm a freshman at Purcell Academy of Fine and Performing Arts.
My name is Mayan Charity, and I'm a 7th grader at Lincoln College Preparatory.
STEM is a program about science, technology, engineering, and math. More girls our age should get more involved in the program because there's a shortage of black girls in STEM.
African American women make up just 2% of engineers. Roughly 1/3 of students of color express an interest in STEM. Most black women think that STEM is too challenging. We are sisters in STEM, and we are encouraging young black teens to join STEM.
If you're interested in more information, please contact Ina Montgomery at 816-866-6340.
Tycon Company, LLC, specializes in a wide range of construction services, which includes the removal and replacement of concrete curbs, sidewalk, driveway, and paving. They pride themselves in the quality of their service, but more importantly, with the quickness in which they provide those services. Their primary goal and objective is to achieve 100% customer satisfaction, and they won't settle for anything less.
And we're back. Thank you for tuning into the Lyne't Gray Show on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's global community radio station. Yeah, I just confirmed online that Pella McDaniel, Dr. McDaniel, that's how I remember him, Dr. Pella McDaniel passed away. No, he didn't pass away from COVID-19. He was only 52 years old. And Dr. McDaniel, that's a great loss. That is like a serious, and like Mr. Walker said, he was a young man, but that's a serious loss for us because Dr. McDaniel was very instrumental in getting the whole African American presence and African American studies going at UMKC. So we send our heartfelt circulation of comfort and peace to his family, his wife and his 2 children. And I'm looking on my page now. Like I said, I have to go through the browser for my page. But yeah, so some folks, that's what I'm gonna call them, decided that they just gonna walk up in the Capitol with guns just strapped. They strapped. Kentucky. They walked up in Kentucky's Capitol strapped. I mean, and it wasn't a little bit of them. Now, just not too long ago, they blocked off the entrance to a hospital. Blocked off the entrance to a hospital to where ambulances and people could not get to the hospital, possibly causing deaths, but they're not going to be charged with murder. And so now you have a group of they call them armed rally goers. They don't call them terrorists like they would if they were black or brown. They don't call them thugs. They call them armed rally goers. And see, that's another reason why we need to take control of our narrative of our media. And we as a people need to start turning off the mainstream media. You see how they shut the country down? You can shut the mainstream media down. We have the power to make them respect us. We have the Schomburg Center that shows you the amazing power of a people when they want their information to be told. This is like unbelievable, knowing that if something like this would have happened with some black men, they'd have shot them where they sat before they even got out of their car. And they would have justified it. But people always say that white privilege does not exist. Prime example, it does. It really does. White privilege definitely exists. And I always tell people, you never notice privilege because you got it. A lot of people don't notice privilege. They cannot, I don't have, and there's this colorism privilege in the black community. And you hear a lot of the lighter skinned people say, I don't have light skin privilege. Yeah, you do. You just don't know you got it, but you do. And that's coming from somebody who can teeter on both sides depending on how good my tan is. So, to me, this says that we as a people need to stand up. And I went to a meeting, and I'm not going to say where the meeting was, and in the meeting was a Hispanic woman, and she was the leader of an organization. And she said, with our cause, there are no allies. And she handed it to us on paper. With their cause, there are no allies. And it's written on the paper. So they will work with you, but you're not an ally because you don't understand what they go through, even if you're black. So this tells me that we as a people need to begin to start to organize. Another thing, I want everyone to look up essential businesses. I was writing down, in preparation for the show, I was writing down essential businesses in Kansas City owned by black people. We allowed people to run the last nationwide, or the longest nationwide, I don't know if anyone has picked up anywhere else in the nation since Mr. Leon closed, but we allowed Kansas City to close a national treasure, which is Leon's. I keep calling it was Leon's Thriftway. I keep wanting to call it the old name for him when I was little. But Leon's Thriftway, and Mr. Leon had to close. And so you look for black owned, we used to have Good to Go. And those were black owned gas stations in Kansas City. We had black owned gas stations everywhere in Kansas City. We had black owned laundromats. We had, it's crazy how when you look at, we have one black owned bank left. Is it still just one? Just one. And it's crazy how we went from being able to shop with our own to now you have to find places to pour money. We got all the barbershops. We got all the beauty salons. We have 1, 2, 3 black-owned hair stores. 3. But I still see everyone still shopping at the other stores. They really don't care about you. Is it called Aziza or Aziz on 67th and Prospect? Blankenship is on Swope Parkway. And then there's one in Overland Park. Those 3. That's it. It's like Overland Park or something like that. But those 3, those are our 3 black-owned hair stores. We've fallen. We used to have our own hospital. And I was told by a white doctor that I had met that when we had our own hospital, they would pull our doctors from our own hospital. We had Martin Luther King Hospital. We ain't gonna get on that Martin Luther King name, but we had Martin Luther King Hospital, and our city let it fall. And I was told by a white doctor who hired majority of the doctors that came into his practice. I was like, why you got these? I said, you were an instructor or something? Because he had a lot of pictures of black doctors. And I thought they had just got their white coat. He said, no, they were part of my, of his practice. And I said, wow. And he said, yeah, I hired all of my people from Martin Luther King Hospital. He said their doctors and their nurses were the best that you could get in our region. And he said, and they knew our people and they knew our weather. And he said they were the best. He would put them up against anybody. You walk into a hospital now and you don't see a whole bunch of us. You see a lot of nurses, but it's surprising to meet a black doctor. Our education system. Our education system should be, now this is what I will say. I have experienced an education system that had all black people, and they were not for our children at all. They were for the destruction and the demise of our children and the filling up of their pockets. That's it. And that education system that I observed doing that, they are now under federal investigation for lying and cheating on attendance records. I'm just going to leave it at that. But I've seen but the ones who truly care, they need that opportunity. We have to go back. Our essential businesses, we don't have any. Now, I know probably, Atlanta and, places, Memphis, they most likely have a lot of black-owned essential businesses. I'm pretty sure they do. But we need them back here in Kansas City. We need to literally, we have to make sure that we begin, because they said our net worth is going to be 0. And I think they said in 30 years. That's horrible. That is like, so who don't own nothing? Because that means we're not owning anything. Everything is debt. Everything is debt. Our net worth is going to be 0. That means we need to get out and start buying up land. Y'all, just buy some land. Even if you just buy some land, just do it. Just buy land. Look into, and hey, I'm with y'all. This little bit of stimulus check that they sent, I was like, I'm not signing up, because they kept saying you had to do like the census and stuff in order to. I wasn't doing all that just to get no stimulus check. And then they sent it to you without you asking, and so I already know, because we got the Bush stimulus check, and they taxed us real good on that. So I'm like, I already know that my taxes, they're going to tax us for the stimulus money or whatever. But we have to start looking at, and this is teaching us that we have to live within our means. There's a certain way you have to live within your means. And if all the people who are forced to work from home stood up and said, hey, you made me work from home, so I'm not coming in every single day. I give you 2 days out the week, but the other 3 belong to me. And you can do your work. I mean, what these jobs gonna do? They gonna fire everybody? No, they can't. It's impossible. They cannot fire everybody. But hey, that's just me. That's just wishful thinking from Lyne't. I'm just that kind of radical person. But I want to encourage everyone right now to take this time to decide what you really want. Take this time to decide, when you come out of this, And even if it's just your happiness, you know, some people were miserable before this. And then now they're in this state of bliss. And I've been telling people, our energy is going to dictate healing. And y'all see me wearing this positive energy shirt. I'm trying to get everyone to, because right now they have everyone so fearful and they have everyone sad and everyone depressed. But if we as a collective globally could lift our energy and could just, even if we just meditate just for a little bit on positive energy, it'll change the direction of this thing. I witnessed on Instagram the most amazing thing ever. Bill Gates went live on Instagram and they slammed that man. I loved it. I was just watching. I was gonna say something, but I was like, I don't even have to add nothing. They own him. They are on him. And everyone is seeing that, you know, it's something more to the whole situation. And anytime we have a black doctor who is overseeing the development of the vaccine for COVID-19, they've already been working on this vaccine for 5 years. That's what I keep telling people. Everybody's like, no, this is a new strand. No, it's not. It's the same strand. They just were not prepared. They were supposed to be prepared right before it hit. He disbanded the pandemic team, the pandemic office. They didn't order the testing. They didn't order everything that they should have been ordering. They did not do it. But this is not new. This is SARS 2. Literally, it's been out for years, since SARS. They identified it when they cured SARS. So she said that they've been working on the vaccine, but now she's rushed to find a vaccine that works, that does not harm people. And she came out and said that the medical community is killing black people. They're committing genocide. She used the words genocide. This is the woman who is completely over developing the vaccine for COVID-19. The doctor, black woman doctor. And she said that they're committing genocide. So they've already tried the vaccine in South Africa, I want to say, and the first day 9 babies died. They're not telling you this. You have to go on the health website. You have to go on the actual national health websites for the different countries. Another thing I found amazing, and this is what I tell people, there's more people being healed than there are dying. There's more people recovering. The countries that are ran by women, they don't have our numbers. I think it's Germany that didn't even have to shut down. The people aren't even getting sick like that. The countries ran by women are not doing as bad as the countries that are ran by men. Hey, listen, I ain't say it. These are numbers. So don't be saying, oh, she male bashing, there she go. I didn't say that. These are the numbers. So they are not doing bad at all. And so that tells me that because power corrupts, absolute power corrupts. And these men did not take it serious all over the place, including Africa, wherever the men are running stuff. They didn't take it serious. They didn't. Italy. So I want everyone to stop being afraid. We have to raise our consciousness. We have to raise our energy. We have to walk around in positive energy. Let's do this for the sake. If you have loved ones that you know that could possibly pass away from it, do this for the sake of them. You're like, okay, I'm just going to be on my happy-go-lucky vibe, chill, play your music that gets you hype and dance. That. You have family members who are nurses and doctors. Do it for them because that energy is going to help them, okay? That being said, we now do, we now can Zoom you in on our show. So I will be doing until the, well, probably even after, because I have a lot of people around the world, but I will be doing Zoom video interviews for the Lyne't Gray Show. I'm excited about that. Oh, wait a minute, hold on, because I didn't do this part. And I normally do this part, but I'm glad I'm doing it now. So we still welcome your station donations for station upgrades. As you see, we got the whole backdrop. We got stuff going on. We got the wireless mic. We have lights. We have, y'all don't know, we got several cameras. we are updating. And so we definitely, truly appreciate your donation of any amount to KUAW via, you can just click on the website and click on donate. And then you can do a recurring PayPal payment. You can just have it come out of your PayPal account. And they're for ongoing station upgrades. It's an ongoing station fundraiser for ongoing station upgrades. We truly, truly appreciate everything you all do. We got a new board. He's pressing stuff over here. We've just got all kind of stuff going on because we want to give you the best quality programming that you can get globally. That it's not Kansas City, it's globally. And so I will be doing interviews with people from around the world. I know I have one person who said, let me know when I'm ready to go. He's down in Florida. I think, no, he's in Chicago. Another person who's ready to go, he's from Ghana. So then I think I have two more people, one from Nigeria. He's an artist, and that's going to be amazing. He does amazing work. So he's an artist that's going to be absolutely amazing. So I'm lining up more and more people, y'all. You could stay home and enjoy the show. This was just me coming in because I missed last week because the car wouldn't start. So, and I've been working on, y'all, I'm an all-around handy woman. And a man had the nerve to ask me today. He asked me in my inbox because I posted, I'm on a whole bunch of different social media. Thing is, y'all ain't gonna know it's me. Well, on this one, they do know it's, well, they don't know it's me because they don't know me from Facebook. It's just me, and I don't think they've ever seen me because everybody keeps saying, what's your name? So, but I put up there that all the different things I've done. And a man came in my inbox and was like, so what is there for me to do when we get together? First off, sir, you didn't even ask me if I was single. So, sir, that's a flag because you just bogarting your way in. I don't do that. But men, stop thinking that because a woman can do everything that she does not need you. I tell everybody, I don't need nobody but Lyne't. I need me to stay black and die, as we used to say. Need me to stay black and live and then die when I'm supposed to die. But you don't get, and from that post, I've gotten like 50 to 75 inboxes from men saying, wow, you're a strong woman. A woman like you don't need a man like me. And they said, stop that. Stop that. And this is just me. I am engaged. Love you, babe. But this is just me saying, stop thinking that that challenges your manhood. Because some of us are single and we don't have money. I'm not single, but I don't have money to be paying nobody. My fiance is 14 to 1,600 miles away. I don't know how far away Ghana is, y'all. But he way over there. And his CD don't translate to the dollar very well. He make good CD, but it don't translate to the dollar very well. So it don't, what do you call that? Exchange into the dollar. Not at all. Not whatsoever. So for the single women out here who feel like they are too strong for a man, or the men, stop that. These women are amazing women. If they can fix things, just do it together. I give it to Old Smith. Old Smith realized I could fix stuff. That man had me up under cars, drywalling. First thing he said, Booby Dog, come here. I need you to do this. Hold this. I'm like, you got sons. I'm getting ready to go back in here and watch TV. And then he's sending the boys in there. Mama, daddy says that. No, tell them y'all figure it out. But that's what we need to do is not, let's stop putting women in boxes. Because I had a daddy who was like, hey, I might not always be here. And my dad, he was right. He passed away when I was 22. You know what I'm saying? But he prepared me. He was like, look, he's coming Miss Piggy or Miss Nene. And he would say, Miss Piggy, I'm not always going to be here. You need to learn this. Miss Piggy, I'm not always going to be Miss Nene. I'm not always going to be here. You need to learn this. And I don't want no man taking advantage of you because, and I've had that happen because I was too lazy to do what he taught me. So men, it is not a dig against your manhood for a woman to know how to do something. Work with her. Teach her more. Yeah, hey, y'all probably can start building houses together. Y'all probably can start building tiny houses together, making all kind of money because it ain't just you doing it. Think about it like that. This is the Lyne't Gray Show. I thank everybody for tuning in. Let's keep our positive energy going, y'all. Shout out to Daniel Davis, Daniel Davis on Facebook and Instagram. Get with him. Get your positive energy shirts. Joy, love, peace, happiness, health, wealth, well-being. Total enlightenment to you all. This is Lyne't Gray Show on KUAW. See you next Tuesday at 8 Central Standard Time.
Hey everybody, this is Scatter. You might remember me from way back in the Zodiac days. Be sure and check us out. We're going to be here every day from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock.